Most of what you have in your refrigerator right now is not actually mayonnaise. It is a scientifically engineered emulsion designed to sit on a shelf for months without spoiling. To understand why, we have to look at the legal definition of the food you are eating. In the United States, the FDA has a strict standard of identity for mayonnaise. To legally be called mayonnaise, a product must contain at least 65% vegetable oil by weight. This is the critical dividing line. The original purpose of mayonnaise was to be a high-fat, nutrient-dense food. But major manufacturers wanted to cut costs. This is where the deception begins. When you buy products like Miracle Whip or many light versions of popular brands, look closely at the label. You will often see terms like salad dressing or sandwich spread. That is because they have dropped below that 65% oil threshold. To make up for the lost volume, they fill the jar with water. But oil and water don't mix. So, to keep it from separating, they add modified cornstarch and gums to create a gel-like texture that mimics real food. But the biggest lie in the aisle is the olive oil label. You have seen the jars from Hellmann ES or Kraft that proudly say, "with olive oil." You buy them thinking you are making a heart-healthy choice. But flip the jar over. The first ingredient is usually water, the second is soybean oil, the third is canola. The actual olive oil is often further down the list, added in tiny amounts just so they can legally put it on the front of the jar. You are paying a premium for cheap soybean oil disguised by marketing. To understand why the brand of mayonnaise you choose matters for your health, you have to understand the oil. Mayonnaise is mostly oil, up to 80% of the volume. Therefore, the health impact of the mayo is identical to the health impact of that oil. For the last 70 years, the industry has shifted away from traditional fats to subsidized seed oils, primarily soybean oil. This is the base of Hellmann's, Duke's, and almost every generic brand. The problem is the fatty acid profile. Soybean oil is massive in omega-6 fatty acids, specifically linoleic acid. While we need some omega-6s, the modern diet is drowning in them, leading to a state of chronic, low-grade inflammation in the body. But it gets worse. Seed oils are chemically unstable. They contain multiple double bonds in their molecular structure, which makes them highly susceptible to oxidation. Basically, they rust on a cellular level when exposed to heat, light, or oxygen. Because soybean oil is so unstable, it shouldn't be shelf-stable for a year. To force it to stay white and fresh, manufacturers use a process called RBD, refined, bleached, and deodorized. They treat the oil with high heat and chemical solvents like hexane to strip away the natural odors and colors. The result is a bland, clear, inflammatory oil that serves as the perfect canvas for sugar and artificial flavors. When you eat standard mayo, you aren't just eating fat. You are eating an industrial lipid that biological systems were not designed to process in these quantities. If the oil is unstable, how does it stay white in the jar? Enter the additives. If you look at the back of a standard mayonnaise jar, you will see an ingredient called Calcium Disodium EDTA. This is a synthetic chelating agent. Its job is to bind to heavy metals. Manufacturers add EDTA because even trace amounts of metals can cause that unstable soybean oil to go rancid instantly. The presence of EDTA is a tacit admission by the manufacturer that their oil is of low quality. A stable oil, like avocado oil, doesn't need synthetic chelators to survive on a shelf. Then we have the light mayonnaise trap. People buy light mayo to save calories, but they are trading fat for metabolic confusion. When you remove the fat, you remove the flavor and the mouthfeel. To fix this, companies double down on sugar and chemical thickeners like xanthan gum and modified starches. Regular mayonnaise triggers satiety. It tells your body you are full because of the fat content. Light mayonnaise spikes your insulin with added sugars and rapidly digesting starches while providing zero satiety. From a metabolic standpoint, a full-fat product is almost always superior to a chemically engineered low-fat version. You are better off eating real fat than a hydrocolloid gel made of cornstarch and high fructose corn syrup. Based on the biochemistry, let's rank the major brands from unhealthiest to healthiest. At the very bottom, in Tier 6, we have the salad dressing category, specifically Miracle Whip. This is the bottom of the barrel. It's low in healthy fats, high in water, thickened with cornstarch, and crucially, sweetened with high fructose corn syrup. It is an inflammatory sugar bomb masquerading as a savory condiment. In Tier 5, we have the industrial standard, regular Hellmann's and Kraft Real Mayo. These meet the legal definition of mayonnaise, so they are better than Miracle Whip, but they are still 100% soybean oil containing sugar and calcium disodium EDTA. They define the taste of mayo for most people, but they are pro-inflammatory foods. In Tier 4, we have the Greenwashed category. This includes the olive oil blends we discussed earlier. They are deceptive and rely on starches to hold their texture. Avoid these. Tier 3 is the harm reduction tier. This is where Duke's Real Mayonnaise sits. Duke's is a cult favorite for a reason. It contains 0 sugar. It has a higher egg yolk content, which makes it creamier. However, it is still made with soybean oil and EDTA. If you are on a strict budget or doing keto and can't afford the premium stuff, Duke's is the best of the bad options because it eliminates the insulin spike from sugar. Now we enter the healthy categories. Tier 2 is the functional hybrid. The best example is Sir Kensington's. They have ditched the soybean oil for high oleic sunflower oil. This oil is bred to be high in monounsaturated fats, making it much more stable and heart-healthy, similar to olive oil. It's a massive upgrade. The only downside is they use a little organic cane sugar. Finally, Tier 1, the gold standard. These are the brands using 100% avocado oil. Avocado oil is primarily monounsaturated fat, highly stable and anti-inflammatory. It doesn't need EDTA. It uses natural rosemary extract for preservation. The two winners here are Chosen Foods and Primal Kitchen. Chosen Foods is likely the best for people switching from Hellmann's. They have engineered it to be creamy and neutral, so it doesn't taste like avocado. Primal Kitchen is the purest S choice. It uses organic eggs and comes in glass jars to avoid plastic leaching, but it has a stronger, tangier flavor. The catch? These cost 4 times as much as regular mayo. If you can't justify spending $10 on a jar of mayonnaise, there is a third option. Make it yourself. Buy a bottle of light olive oil, not extra virgin, because that will taste bitter, but light tasting olive oil. Grab an egg, some lemon juice, and an immersion blender. You can make the healthiest mayonnaise in the world in 60 seconds for pennies on the dollar. No preservatives, no seed oils, just real food.